Are you a leader that has a presentation coming up very soon and perhaps you're a bit nervous about it, or maybe you're not exactly sure what you should do or how you can make it special? Well, in this very short video, I'm going to share with you some strategies that will help you to communicate at a higher level than your peers. So when you do your presentation, you absolutely stand out from everybody else. So if this information sounds of interest to you, then feel free to like this video because it allows it to be seen by other people. And also subscribe to the channel. I talk about communication strategies, ways to really showcase yourself as a woman in leadership on my channel and make you just stand out from everybody else. That's really what I do here on this channel. So if you subscribe to the channel, you'll learn a lot of really insider tips, I would say, as it relates to communication. Now, my channel specifically, I focus with working on those advanced level communication skills that people really don't talk about, especially in the wonderful world of leadership. And so my main target audience that I provide one-on-one services to as an executive coach are women in leadership. However, on YouTube and on several other platforms, I have women in leadership that are in my audience. I have men in leadership that are in my audience. And regardless of if you are not in my specific audience that I provide executive coaching services to and consultation services, I am glad that you're here. I appreciate you being here, and anything that I'm sharing with you, especially as it relates to communication and leadership, truly does transcend gender, and you'll gain something out of it, whether you are a woman in leadership or a man in leadership, either way. Now, if you're watching this portion of the video, you are watching the replay. So welcome. I'm glad that you're here today. Typically on YouTube Lives, there's a point in time where people will start to join the conversation. So just give me just a few moments so I can say hello to everyone, and we'll get into how I can help you to really do a presentation like a leader and really stand out from everybody else. So before we get into the discussion today, very briefly, I want to know from you, have you ever had a presentation where it was a very high stakes presentation? Maybe this was a presentation that you are doing to promote a project, or maybe you're trying to get a promotion. Let me know in the comments below if you've had a presentation like that. I believe most presentations do have a certain level of high stakes on them. So before I go into more of that, let me say hello to CR7. Hello, welcome friend. How you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Let me know what part of the big beautiful world you are joining from today, and if you've ever been in a situation as a leader where you've had to do a presentation. It's high stakes, right? High stakes, a lot on the line, and you're not quite sure, well, what should I do to make my presentation really stand out? This is what we're going to talk about today, so you absolutely want to watch this live until the end, because I'm going to share with you just a few secrets. If you want to learn more, then reach out to me for a strategy session in the description below, where we'll talk about where you are and where you need to be as a woman in leadership and help you go to that next level and learn as much as you can. So let me know where y'all are joining from, okay? So CR7, let's see. All right, CR7 is asking me to say something. I don't quite understand what that means, but these are some things you can do to start understanding how you can really present at that higher level than your peers and really show off. Now, as I was mentioning earlier, this is really important, because presentations, there's a lot that's on the line when you're doing presentations. It's typically in front of a group. It's typically in front of maybe someone that is either a direct report that you work with, or it could be your managers, your supervisors, your board, etc. It could be a lot of people you're presenting to. So the way you present yourself, believe it or not, will either set you up for success and advancement in your career, or it may hinder your career and maybe make you go a bit slower than what you'd like to as you're transitioning through your career. So this is why presentations are important. And if you want to learn some more in-depth tactics and strategies to help you with this, then subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of content here on my live channels, on my live page specifically, to talk about this. Now, the first thing I want you to keep in mind in terms of a strategy when you have been asked to do a presentation at work is know that there's a certain level of expertise that you have that other people think that you have. Because why do I mention this? Most of the time when I talk to my clients in a one-on-one setting, they are very nervous about giving presentations. So let me know in the comments below, have you ever been nervous giving a presentation before? I know I have many years ago. And so I'm going to share with you over 20 years worth of expertise for myself as a director, as a C-suite executive, and as a public speaker to help you really stand out when you're doing your presentations. People feel nervous, and most of the time they feel nervous because there's a certain amount of confidence that they do not have in themselves in the presentation. Even when someone feels confident, sometimes they feel like they're confident, but there's still that very small amount of doubt that they have that they're able to do this presentation. So how can you get over this doubt? The first strategy, as I mentioned, is that there's a reason these individuals ask you to do a presentation. There's a certain level of expertise that you have that other people do not have. That's the reason why they ask you specifically to present to a group of people. Now, keep in mind, you're an expert. And I tell my clients this, and I tell my audience this, and my subscribers too. Even though you may think that you do not know something, I guarantee you are an expert in something. So before I go into more details in terms of how this can help you, hello, we have Geishio Angel Masuni. I'm sorry if I said your name wrong, friend. I'm sorry about that. Hello, welcome. Mike S. Hello, welcome, friend. Hope you're doing today. Mike says, I'm almost finished. I'm not quite sure what that means in terms of what you're trying to say, but I'm glad that you're here. Welcome. Let me know where you all are joining from in the big, beautiful world today. Now, I mentioned to you that you're an expert, right? You're an expert in some way, shape, or form. This is why individuals are asking you specifically to present to them, okay? So that helps to build up your confidence, give you that confidence boost that you need. Now, let's go into that next step. So you know that you're an expert. Build up your confidence and go from there, okay? That's one place to start. The second place to start in terms of a strategy is to think about who it is specifically that you are talking to when you're doing your presentation. So let me go into more detail on that. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Mike S says, I'm done, thank you. Okay, all right, well, thank you for letting me know that. I appreciate the heart emojis. Well, let's think about who are you talking to. This is a mistake that people make. Most of the time when people are trying to do presentations, especially as leaders, they just put it together. They put their presentation together and they say, okay, this is the information that I need to share, and this is how I'm going to say it, and this is what I'm going to do, etc. The first thing, once you have determined that you are an expert in something, to build up your confidence, because a lot of people are nervous when they're presenting in front of people or giving speeches or etc., is to understand who it is you're communicating with. Who are you talking to? Specifically your audience, because as a public speaker, and I'm sharing this with you from my over 20 years of experience as a public speaker, I love public speaking. If you don't know that, you probably have to watch some of my videos and you understand how important it is for me just as a leader and as a business owner. But you have to know your audience. So if your audience is a group of, let's say, families, then you have to communicate in a different way to those individuals than if your group was, let's say, a group of board members or other C-suite executives, maybe like yourself or other leaders. You communicate with people differently. Your language that you use is going to be different. So think about who it is specifically you're talking to. What type of knowledge base do they have? Do they have the same amount of knowledge as yourself and you're presenting some information or a report or an audit or etc.? Or perhaps this individual or these group of individuals may not have that same level of knowledge that you have, and maybe they're novices. They're at the very beginning. They have no idea. They need to understand maybe a complex topic in layman's terms. That is very important. So why do I mention this as the number 2 strategy? Because this is the mistake that people and leaders make when they're doing presentations. They do not think about the audience that they are communicating with directly. And I appreciate the heart emojis and the 100s. Thank you so much. They don't really think about who they're communicating with directly. So keep that in mind. These are strategies I'm sharing with you that people don't talk about in the wonderful world of leadership. And as I mentioned earlier, for those of you who are joining, welcome. Glad you're here today. How you present in those very high stakes, high pressure situations can either help you to accelerate your career growth or they can hinder your growth and help you go slower. You don't want to be that. And especially if you're subscribed to my channel, you know you are going to be communicating at a higher level than your peers and accelerate your career growth as a woman in leadership, which is my direct target audience I provide services to, or a man in leadership, if you happen to be watching this video. So we talked about 2 strategies so far for those of you who have just joined. The first strategy to present like a leader is number 1. Remember, this is so important. Remember, these individuals asked you to present for a reason. You are an expert in someone's mind. So use that information to just, give yourself a confidence boost when you are getting ready to do your presentation. Second is to consider your audience. Who exactly is it that you are speaking to? And cater your presentation around those individuals. You may speak in a more lax format if you're talking to a group of kids, or you may speak in a more modified format if you're speaking to a group of families, or if you're speaking to a group of executives or a group of leaders that are at a higher level. Maybe you're having to do congressional testimony like I've done before, and you have to speak at a very, very articulate, high level. Keep that in mind. Your audience really does matter. Your audience really does matter. Now, my third strategy I want to share with you in terms of presentations done like a leader is to not read from your slides verbatim. How many of you have ever been to a presentation or a conference where you've had someone just read off their slides? Like they just read off the slides and click, read off the slides and click, and advance to the next slide. Let me know. I personally have dealt with that. So let me know if you've dealt with that in the comments below now or in the replay. So before I go into why specifically this is what you do not want to do, I'm sharing with you the secrets, the strategies that's going to help you to present like a leader. Let me say hello to Numizatic Addict. I believe I have that correct. Welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Let me know what part of the big beautiful world you all are joining from. And if you have any problems with presentations as a leader, why do you not want to read from your slides? Why? When you read from your slides, 1, it makes your audience feel like it's a lecture. Now, if you've been to college and you've been to school at any point in your life, and you have been if you're a leader and you're watching my channel, then we've already been to school. We already know that. We're at the point where we are trying to learn and really engage with other people. And if you read off the slides, it just makes it really boring. That's the simplest way I can say it, because you are dependent on what's on the slides. Now, that's one reason why you don't want to do that. Number 2, and I talk about this with my one-on-one clients. So if you've ever struggled with presentations and maybe you need to unlock that next level of greatness within you, if you could just master how you communicate and present to other people, then contact me for a strategy session in the description below. But when you are doing a presentation, the way to really make it impactful to other people and to make it stand out is to make your presentation feel like a conversation. Why is this? When you make your presentation feel like a conversation, your audience is going to feel naturally more inclined to listen to you. When you are given a presentation that just sounds like you are reading the slides verbatim, there's no conversation that anyone has in the world, period. And I will say that with confidence, and I'm very careful about what I say about the world, but there's no conversation in the world where you read something verbatim where it feels like a conversation. It's very difficult to do in a one-on-one setting. So make sure that you make your presentations feel like a conversation. The way you do that is by not reading off the slides verbatim. Your slides should not have a lot of text in them. It should be more visuals and a few lines of text. It's easier for the audience to read. So if they look at your presentation, they read a couple lines and they look at the pictures and they understand what's going on. But when you have too much text and you're reading from too much text, it just makes it very, 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 very busy and very, very boring. This is something that I do not want you all to do if you're trying to present like a leader. Now, I've shared with you several strategies so far. So for those of you who have joined or are here, welcome. Let me know where you're joining from in the big, beautiful world today. And then also, what are some challenges you faced when you were doing presentations as a leader? Let me know in the comments below. we've talked about a couple strategies. So as a recap, and as I mentioned at the beginning, this is literally the tip of the iceberg, leaders. Tip of the iceberg. I could talk about presentations at least 8 hours straight. At least 8 hours straight. But in this video, I want to give you something to start with in case you have a presentation coming up and it's high stakes, you have a lot on the line, you're trying to advance yourself, you're trying to showcase why you are the absolute best person for this position, or the role you're in, or the advancement you're seeking for. That's what I'm here to help you with, to get you started, right? Get you started. If you want to learn more, then put it in the comments below, let me know, and I will go into more detail on this topic than what I do on my lives. So as a recap, what are some strategies that you need to implement to help you be able to communicate and present like a leader? So we're going to go over them really quickly for those of you who have joined. The first strategy, and you want to watch the replay if you want to get more details, but the first strategy is to understand that you are an expert to somebody. There's a reason why these individuals have reached out to you specifically to have you be able to present to their group or etc. Because there's something that they see in you that is expert worthy, and that will help you boost your confidence. Number 2 is to make sure you keep in mind who is the audience that you're communicating with. Who are you talking to? Cater your message toward them. 3 is to make sure that you understand that you do not want to read from the slides. Please do not read from the slides. This is the easiest way to make your presentation not like a conversation. So you absolutely want to do that. And if you want to learn more strategies on how to present like a leader, maybe you are a woman in leadership that is, maybe you're struggling with where you are right now, and you know that how you are presenting yourself or communicating in front of a big meeting is maybe not as well as you would like for it to be, or you know you could improve, then just reach out to me, contact me for an executive strategy session listed in the description below. I have a couple other live videos that will help you be able to go forward. And so one of the ones you want to watch, especially as it relates to presentations, is there's some information on presentations. Eye contact is important. Handling yourself under pressure. So check out my live videos, my live streams. They're here to really support you, help you elevate yourself. And then of course, subscribe to the channel if you like this content, because I go into those very advanced next level leadership role in terms of how you communicate, because I'm here to help you stand out in front of everybody else. The world needs leaders like you. We need those leaders that can communicate at a higher level, that can handle themselves under pressure, whether you're a woman in leadership or a man in leadership. I'm here really to support you on your journey. So let me see what's going on in the chat. We have Hillbilly Man 1974. Welcome, friend. How you doing today? Hillbilly Man 1974 says, everyone like and support this channel. Well, thank you, Hillbilly Man. I appreciate that, and I hope you subscribe and join us. And Hillbilly Man 1974 says, this channel is the best. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And feel free to share it to any of your colleagues or your friends. I will help them communicate at a higher level to stand out from everybody else. That is my specialty. Handling situations under pressure, dealing with complex situations is what I do. I've been a C-suite executive and a director, a public speaker, an executive coach for over 20 years. I've interacted with several congressional leaders on the federal and on the state level. And I've been in those very, very friendly, very contentious situations where I had to communicate at a higher level. So Hillbilly Man, appreciate you for being here today, and feel free to share it with your friends. Well, hope y'all have an amazing day. I should be live a little bit later this evening. Hopefully everything is done on my end. It's where I can get back into my schedule of being live in the evenings. So I hope you have a great day. If you have any questions specifically as it relates to this topic, put them in the comments below. I'll take a look at them, and I will see you all either later this evening or in the next video. Bye for now.